Hey, good evening, Patriots. Broken Horn Radio coming at you tonight. Kind of in a less professional setting. We're in the process of moving, so everything's craziness. But found a good seat here and on the comfy couch, and just going to talk to you for a second about something that's very important. In case you haven't heard, or if you live under a rock, or maybe you just don't care, President Trump's, the 45th president of the United States, President Trump's home in Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago, was raided this morning, today, by FBI agents, 30 FBI agents, where I'm also hearing reports that it was more than 30, but somewhere between 30 and some odd FBI agents raided the former president's house, which has never happened before. This is unprecedented. Never happened before. Not only is he the 45th president, former president, let's just be honest, he's going to be the Republican nominee to run for president again for a second term. So he's literally going to be Biden's opposition, or at least the Democratic Party's opposition. We don't know if Biden's running again, probably not, but yeah, this is unprecedented and has never happened before. And I wanted to make a video to kind of talk about what's going on because it's a big deal. And I'm finally making the video right before I go lay down and go to sleep. But I got to be careful with what I say for obvious reasons. Look at this commie freaking social video platform that I'm putting all this on. I got to be careful what I say. I don't want to misspeak, but I want to be truthful. What happened today is absolutely a shame. It's disgusting. It's disrespectful to our nation, to our flag. It's terrifying. It should be terrifying to everyone, but it's not out of the ordinary here recently for these alphabet soup agencies. The FBI has become, it's funny, when I was growing up, and I'm not that old, but when I was growing up, the FBI was portrayed on TV as the highest level of law enforcement, the highest, full of integrity, the highest level of professional law enforcement, the FBI. And man, how have they fallen. They are nothing but they're a disgrace to this country. They're a partisan police force. Let's just come out and say it. They're the Gestapo of the Democratic Party. Not just the Democratic Party. They're the Gestapo of the swamp, of the elite that runs this country. And I don't want to say just the Democratic Party because, the swamp is full of Democrats, but it's also full of a lot of Republicans too, rhinos. And it's funny, as it's lightning and really bad thunderstorms here in southeastern Arizona where I live. It's funny, it's fitting that there's a storm out there because there's a storm brewing in this country too. And I want to just bring up a few things. I think it's important to remind people sometimes, especially in this day and age, it's important to remember that the American Revolution, the Revolutionary War, wasn't fought over a game of chess. It's important to understand and remember that the Texas Revolution and Texas winning its independence wasn't fought over a game of chess. World War I, World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, they weren't games of chess. I'm reminded of a quote that the tree of liberty has to be replenished from time to time with the blood of tyrants and patriots alike. And I think that's true. And it needs to be resaid and resaid and resaid, especially in today's time. Because what you have is the Department of Justice, federal law enforcement being used as the secret police for a specific political party. They're going after President Trump. Now, by the way, what's being said is that they went after President Trump, that it was the National Archives, because apparently President Trump took some classified documents from the White House when he left and Biden took over. By the way, if you look that up, that's never happened before. When I say this is unprecedented, this is seriously unprecedented. This has never happened before. This is the same FBI, mind you, that last year, pretty much around the same time, was caught labeling mothers and fathers, parents at school board meetings as domestic terrorists. Same FBI that are doing this now. And it's also worth noting that the kangaroo court scam January 6th committee hearings is taking place in Washington, D.C. These FBI agents that raided President Trump's house in Mar-a-Lago, Palm Beach, Florida, were from the Washington, D.C. field house. Now, there is a FBI field house in Miami, Florida. They're not the ones who raided President Trump's house. It was the ones from Washington, D.C. This is nothing more than a political hit job onto Donald Trump. Also, it's worth noting that you still have hundreds of people, political prisoners is what they are, that are rotting in jail cells right now in Washington, D.C. for the crime of nothing more than it amounts to a trespassing charge on January 6th when they walked into the People's House. They're rotting in prison right now in a Washington, D.C. jail, being denied basic human rights, not being given legal counsel. And this has been talked about. I've talked about it on this channel. It's been talked about by Congress, women and men, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz. They've all talked about it. They're still there. It's terrible what's happening. And I'm also reminded of a bunch of these things. Hillary Clinton deleted 33,000 emails after she left, her state position. 33,000 emails. Has her house ever been raided? No. She's never been held accountable. Her home has never been raided. Nothing. It's also being reported that the FBI agents that went into Donald Trump's house today, they were they were filling boxes with documents. They broke into his safe. They were filling boxes with documents. These documents, they weren't even looking at what they were grabbing. They were just taking them. They'll review them later, they said. Is that how a search warrant works? Pretty fortunately, I've never been, I've never had to deal with a search warrant in my property or with me, but I'm pretty positive that that's not how that works. This is what's going on in this country today, and it should scare every one of you. And I know we say it all the time, it should scare you, you should wake up, blah, blah, blah. But there's a reason why I mentioned that quote about the Tree of Liberty. And there's a reason why I wanted to remind you that, all the wars that we've ever fought, they're full of the V word. The V word that I can't say, or this commie, YouTube channel, that'll probably do it right there, will get me kicked off. There's a reason why I bring those up. Righteous, fill the blank with the V word, is needed from time to time. This is where I have to kind of beat around the bush and be careful with what I say. Also, I want to bring up the fact that, yesterday they signed the newly refurbished Build Back Better plan. In that plan, among other terrible things that was in that bill that passed. But one of the things that was in that is that they funded a ton of money to create 87,000 new IRS agents. Let me re-say that in case some of you haven't heard that, because that's in the bill. 87,000 new IRS agents. They got the funding, the IRS got the funding to fill those new positions. 87,000. So they come after you. They come after you if you're a parent and you're concerned and you want to get involved. They come after you if you differ from them politically. They come after you if you don't take a vaccine that they tell you must take. They come after you if you're pro-life and not pro-abortion. I mean, should we even bring up the fact that the FBI won't do squat about it? The FBI won't do squat about the disturbing trend that's going on right now, where pro-life emergency pregnancy centers, pro-life centers are being attacked on a daily basis by pro-abortion lefties. The FBI won't talk about it. They won't even admit that it's happening. They won't do nothing about it. They come after you if you're pro-life and differ from them. They come after you if you're pro-Second Amendment, if you're pro-Constitution. They come after you if you're pro-strong border. And I also want to bring this up. And I know I'm rambling, but it happens. It's late. I've worked all day, and man, this really has ticked me off. And it's ticked a lot of Americans off. It's ticked over 70 million, in fact, Americans off. Remember, over 70 plus million Americans voted for Donald Trump in 2020. It's ticked us all off. So if I'm rambling, you can just turn it off. But I'm going to keep speaking. And now I've lost my train of thought. But it goes back to what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I was trying to say. Donald Trump was famously quoted as saying this quote. You probably have heard it. "They're not coming after me. They're coming after you," said Trump. "I am just in the way." And he's correct. Make no mistake about it. What happened today is not really about Donald Trump. It involves him. And it's wrong what they did to him. Of course, it's wrong how they've treated him for the last 6 years. But what they did today is not only about Donald Trump and his family. It's about me and you. If they can do this to a former president of the United States, if they can do this to a former president of the United States who's more than likely, let's be honest, going to run and be the candidate for the Republican Party in 2024, if they can do this to him, just imagine what they can do to you. Just imagine what they will not even hesitate to do to me, to your children, to your mother, your father, your aunts, your uncles, your friends, your church friends. Just imagine for a second. Take a second to think what they will do to you and not even think twice. Not even think twice. They will ruin your life. They will end your life. They will make your life as crappy, as dark, as depressing as possible. They will do all of that. All because you don't agree with them. You have a different religion than they do. You believe in a God. You believe in the one true God. They don't. You stand up for life. They don't. You want a secure border and a sovereign America. They don't. You want to have your guns and to protect your family. They don't like you for that. And they will come after you. Actually, no, they're not. Let me rephrase. They are coming after you. They're coming after you. This is a deep, dark time in this country. I made a video a couple of days ago about the job growth numbers. And there's so much crap that's going on right now, folks. There's so much crap that's all happening all at once. And it's not on accident. It's on purpose. All this stuff is happening all at once. You have food banks across the country running out of food. You have inflation that the next time it comes out in October, I believe, the next time the quarterly consumer price index numbers come out, will be in the double digits. It's terrible. You have China about to invade Taiwan, and you have a fraudulent fake president who is owned by China, who is compromised, who won't do nothing about it, will not stand up to them. And then you have this political police force being used against everyday Americans. So my question is, how does it stop? What do we do? What do we do to fix it? We can't trust our elections anymore. I haven't even talked about this. I was a poll watcher August 2nd for the Arizona state primaries. I was a poll watcher. So I was paying attention that day. What happened in Pima, I think it was Pima County. Somebody from Arizona, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was Pima County. They ran out of ballots. Ran out of ballots. Now, somebody did get fired for that, thankfully. But you'd think after the 2020 elections that they would get everything right, all the T's crossed, I's dotted, everything correct. They ran out of ballots, folks. A whole county ran out of ballots, meaning people showed up and were told, sorry, you can't vote because we ran out of ballots. Is that okay? Is that proper? Is that full of integrity? So what do? You can't, I'm sorry to say this, and again, I got to tiptoe around what I'm saying. You can't trust elections. You can't. You can't trust elections. You can't trust Republicans. And a lot of times they're rhinos. You can't even trust them. They're bought and paid for. You can't trust anything in this country anymore. The only thing you can trust in is our God and our Constitution, and anyone who vows to defend the Constitution and then shows it by their works. That's all you can. And remember that V word that I can't say on this channel. Righteous, the V word. And you know what I mean. Sometimes it's not only warranted, it's needed. And, you know, a lot of people know me. A lot of people know me just because they've seen me a few times and hit subscribe. I served in the United States military. I was a United States Marine for damn near 13 years. Like literally about 2 months shy of 13 years. I was a United States Marine. I got out as a staff sergeant. I served my country in Afghanistan, Operation Enduring Freedom. I served in Afghanistan. I took the oath, and that oath does not expire. And, you know, that's kind of a corny thing to say, right? My oath doesn't expire. A lot of people say that. But what does that oath say? I mean, that oath has words in it that I'm not going to say on here. But if you're watching this channel, I hope you probably already know what I'm talking about. That oath has words in it that have meaning. And they have action. And it takes action to keep the meaning of that oath. At the end of the day, I want you to remember to be brave, to be smart, and be free. But try not to get in trouble here. But what do we do when our only recourse in this country, elections, voting, that's our only recourse, right? What do we do when that's taken away from us? The sanctity of that right is gone, and it's gone. It's gone. Don't kid yourself. I voted, and I will continue to vote. But the sanctity of that right to vote is gone. It's dragged through the mud. It will never return. It will never return. Sometimes the tree of liberty has to be replenished by the blood of tyrants and patriots. Now I'm just rambling, and I know not everyone that watches this channel is going to agree with me talking about what I've talked about. But what you know, when you disenfranchise 70 million plus Americans, when you disenfranchise us, what happens next? Let's be honest and let's quit lying. You know, I say this on Facebook all the time. The only thing that's keeping us from the righteous that word is everyone just walks around and pretends. Everyone just walks around and pretends that everything's okay. We walk around and pretend that everything's okay, and we use things to distract us from the fact that nothing in this country is okay. We use things like sports, TV shows, streaming services like Netflix and stuff, and we binge watch stuff, and we binge watch Yellowstone, and we can't wait for the next freaking season, so that's all we can think about for the next year until the new season comes out. We use that to distract us and to help us pretend that everything's okay, when deep down we know none of this is okay. This is very bad. Very, very bad. And not just tongue-in-cheek, this is very bad. Folks, it may not get worse. It can get worse than this, but we're in it. We're in the poopy, man. We're in it. And if it wasn't so dang serious, it'd be comical. So that's all I have for tonight. I've rambled enough. You know, I do appreciate each one of you who subscribes to this channel and hopefully watches all my videos. I know I'm not the best speaker, and I know I'm not the smartest person, and I'm sure I get things wrong all the time. But what you can never, and you can call me a lot of things, but what you can never deny me is that I love my country. I love the military. I love God. And I'm telling you, I love the Constitution. I tell people all the time, I take that oath that I took to defend that Constitution higher than any other oath in my life. I put it above my marriage oath. The commitment I have to the United States Constitution is above everything to me. It's in my blood to hate tyrants. It's in my blood to not be a bootlicker. I won't do it. So, yes, I may not be the best speaker, and I may stumble a lot, and I may say a lot. The wife gets on to me for saying that. But I love my country. I love the freedoms of this country. I do honestly believe that this is the greatest country to ever be on God's green earth. And it matters to me, like it should matter to you, what we're leaving for our children. I don't ever want to, 50 years from now, God willing, I'm still alive, 50 years from now, turn around and have to explain to my children and my children's children how it used to be and how good we used to have it when we had freedoms, because we don't have them then. That is my worst nightmare. We're in a bad situation, folks. Stay vigilant. Get guns. Get ammo. That's your God-given constitutional right. Store up on food. Midterms are coming, and it's going to get terrible. But I want to go back to the original thing of this episode. What they did today to Donald Trump is absolutely terrible. It's unprecedented. It should never have happened. And it just it further shows the politicization of the alphabet agencies in this country. They cannot be trusted. They can't be trusted. You're a terrorist to them. If you're watching this channel and you agree with me, you're a terrorist to them. I'm a terrorist to them. And they're tyrannical. And we all know what to do to tyrannical tyrants. Love y'all. Be safe, be free, be brave.